Kid's got alligator blood. Can't get rid of him.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm double the blind.
Okay. Like wall.
That's Matt Damon playing a reformed poker player in his 1998 film Rounders. I'm Dylan Howard, you're watching The Daily Buzz. And little did Matt know, while filming his big stakes movie, that one day he'd find himself in the middle of a real-life high-stakes poker drama. In today's big story, we're taking you inside the secret world that once involved many of Hollywood's leading men. Besides Matt, big gamer Tobey Maguire, Ben Affleck and Leonardo DiCaprio all were playing, and many of them were winning enormous amounts of cash during these underground illegal games. Now, Celeb Buzz received a 206-page deposition of the hedge fund manager Bradley Ruderman, who was found guilty of fraud after bilking investors out of $25 million in an elaborate Ponzi scheme and using $5.2 million of that to pay off his poker debts. He blew the lid on the scandal after being sentenced to prison. Joining us for the discussion today is investigative journalist Mark Ebner, who's been writing about this scandal since it broke on his website, Hollywood Interrupted, this time last year. Mark, 206 pages, the most revealing so far in this story. What did this story tell us today?
Well, you know, first of all, congratulations on a great scoop.
Thank you. Thanks,
you got the Ponzi artist, the guy who was dumping all these illicit funds into Tobey Maguire's big game. You got him to speak, and that was key. And what he said in that was that Tobey himself, as you put in your story, Tobey himself had called him and invited him into the game. Now, prior to that, Tobey's, I like to call her his poker slut, his door whore, his event organizer, as she portrayed herself, a woman named Molly Bloom, was the one who baited the hook and got this guy Ruderman. She heard he had money, and she heard he was dumping it at a poker table. She invited him into the game. Tobey came in, got on the phone with him, and closed the deal. The problem is, in this rarefied celebrity world, you know, Tobey's game has been the biggest open secret in Hollywood for years.
Was it really, though?
Oh, yeah, we knew about it. Anybody in the poker world that plays poker. Now, I don't play at that level, but I can tell you I knew about the game. However, it was that rarefied celebrity circle. It was the real-life cast of Entourage. You know, forget about the leading men for a second, the Leo, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. This crew, director Nick Cassavetes.
Gabe Kaplan from Welcome Back, Kotter.
His producer, producing partner, Chuck Pacheco. Another third wheel in this game was Rick Scum Solomon. You know, he of the original Paris Hilton sex tape and Shotgun Marriage to Pamela Anderson. These guys were all pushing chips at each other and, you know, beating each other out of enormous pots in a game. But sooner or later, greed took over, as it does in the poker world. That's what it's all about. The fundamental goal of a poker player is to separate their opponents from their cash. Greed took over. They made the mistake of letting this guy into their circle, and now they're all paying the price. As you can see, they've all settled.
Ruderman was reticent to talk. He'd actually knocked back numerous interview requests. But he sang like a canary when it came to this deposition. One, because he was under oath, but two, because he's got nothing to lose now.
Absolutely nothing to lose, no.
And he pinpointed, as you can see there, that's the original story that appeared in Star Magazine, he pinpointed Tobey Maguire for making one specific phone call to him to lure him into the game. Are you surprised that Tobey was essentially, according to Bradley Ruderman, the ringleader?
At the level they were playing at, no, I'm not surprised at all. Tobey is an excellent, to his credit, he's an excellent poker player. Tournaments, cash games, home games, his own game, otherwise he's really good. And he can, you know, Tobey, from what I've heard from certain dealers and sources that I have who have been, in that game, can tell me that he can make $2 million in a sitting. Not bad. You know, for a guy, who makes, I mean, that's like, it's comparable to what he makes, for a movie, what he can take in a year playing cards.
I think all the members of this street card circuit were pretty confident, almost arrogant that they would not hear anything from Bradley Ruderman. They settled the court case, which meant that the public airing of these details would never be known. Do you think in their wildest dreams they would have expected that this document would leak?
Yeah, well, look, there was a lot of bluster. One of the lawyers mentioned in your story and mine, Ronald Richards, who is, in my opinion, the real-life prototype for Saul Goodman from Better Call Saul on Breaking Bad. Okay, this guy's saying, oh, there was nothing illegal about this game, and Nick Cassavetes was barking like, you know, hey, I won that money fair and square. I'm not paying anything back. And I was sitting there thinking, as I was researching and doing the story, bullshit.
You can swear, it's fine.
Bullshit. They're all going to settle. And like dominoes, one after the other, they settled. And to, not to Ruderman's credit, but to the plaintiff, the guy who was the trustee in the bankruptcy, to try and get the money that Ruderman had bilked from all his hedge fund clients in his Ponzi scheme, that guy did something pretty innovative by going after Toby's game. It's almost unprecedented.
Yeah.
And I got to give that lawyer a lot of credit.
Now, one of the most interesting things for me was Alex Rodriguez, named in these 206 pages. And I've got to say, I reported this story 12 months ago. At the time, Alex Rodriguez came out, completely denied it. Said he'd never played in one of these games whatsoever. Accused my reporting to be a lie.
Yeah, well,
now, Bradley Ruderman named Alex Rodriguez, the New York Yankees' third baseman and slugger, in these documents as playing in one game at Mulholland Estate.
Well, all I can say is, you know, A-Rod, not only do you have sources and reporting, but now you've got two reporters with double the sources who have seen you at that game. What are you going to do?
So Alex Rodriguez has been sanctioned in the past by the MLB for participating in poker games. Now that this proof has come out, should the MLB go after him?
You know, it's hard to say. He's not betting on sports. If he likes to play, Michael Jordan is one of the biggest Vegas whales of all time.
There was a level of seediness about these games at times.
Yeah, you know, indeed. But then again, you know, I'm a poker player, so you know, I kind of want A-Rod at my table if you know, if I can get him.
And that's what Ruderman said. That's to be honest, that's what Ruderman said. That part of the attraction was not Molly Bloom in the games that she had. It was to come and sit alongside guys like Tobey Maguire, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and enjoy mixing it with the rich and the famous.
Right, while they, in turn, separate you from your money, and lots of it.
And guys like Tobey Maguire wanted people like Bradley Ruderman to continue to turn up because he was a big fish.
Yeah, and you know, listen, this is, you know, real quick, in 2009, I wrote a book called 6 Degrees of Paris Hilton. And the takeaway from that book is if you're famous and you're a celebrity, watch who you let into your circle. In other words, why was Paris Hilton getting robbed all the time? Because she may let one honest person into her home, but they come with an entourage who's casing the joint. You know, this is a parallel story. They didn't know Ruderman. They didn't know that he was a Ponzi artist. They just knew he had a lot of money and he liked to gamble to lose. And they wanted it. This is what screwed them up. They let a criminal into their circle. And, you know, when you do that, it doesn't matter if you're Girls Gone Wild goon Joe Francis, you know, with being assaulted with a marital aid. It doesn't matter if you're Paris Hilton getting robbed, extorted, and sex taped. It's, you know, it's part of the same thing. Celebrities, the price you got to pay. Watch who you let into your circle. Ruderman was the wrong guy.
And I think that's what makes this story so fascinating, is that it is truly the underbelly of Tinseltown. Final one from me before we wrap up. Why, if we talk about the money that Tobey Maguire and others may have won, why is the IRS not circling around them to make sure that this money was declared?
I would be willing to bet that Tobey Maguire runs all his poker winnings and losses not only through his agents, but also through his business manager. The one thing I'm pretty sure of is not so much about the other entourage guys, but Tobey certainly is, you know, putting his wins and losses on book, and it's all accounted for. If it wasn't, the IRS would have swooped in already and nailed them. You know, just on the, just on the noise being made about this whole lawsuit to begin with. So his books are pretty much in order.
Mark, fascinating story. I enjoyed reading your piece on HollywoodInterrupted.com.
Likewise,
and,
Dylan.
Enjoyed following this story and enjoyed your coverage too. Thanks very much for coming in.
Fantastic. My pleasure.
All right, Mark Ebner there. Thank you very much for joining us. A fascinating subject. Well, we'll be here at the same time, same place tomorrow. And of course, don't forget to visit the website, celebBuzz.com, for all the latest on the Hollywood poker scandal. That's it for the Daily Buzz. I'm Dylan Howard. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Begin with. So his books are pretty much in order.
Mark, fascinating story. I enjoyed reading your piece on HollywoodInterrupted.com.
Likewise,
and,
Dylan.
Enjoyed following this story and enjoyed your coverage too. Thanks very much for coming in.
Fantastic. My pleasure.
All right, Mark Ebner there. Thank you very much for joining us. A fascinating subject. Well, we'll be here at the same time, same place tomorrow. And of course, don't forget to visit the website, celebBuzz.com, for all the latest on the Hollywood poker scandal. That's it for the Daily Buzz. I'm Dylan Howard. We'll see you back here tomorrow.